everybody, and welcome back to another Game News Roundup. We've got some not so positive news, at least if you are in Japan. Console prices are going up. Again. Well, by console prices, I mean the PlayStation 5 price is going up in Japan. For the third time in its life, it is going up. So yeah, Sony Interactive Entertainment announced is increasing the price of the PlayStation 5 and a number of accessories in Japan on September 2nd, on Monday. In just under a week. Yeah, so if you live in Japan, the price of the standard PS5 is increasing by 1,300 yen. From basically 67,000 yen to 80,000 yen. Which also means the PS5 is now more expensive in... let's say it's more expensive in Japan, but actually that includes taxes. So it's about the same price in Japan as it is in the US. If you think of taxes, because this does include taxes. Unlike in the US, where taxes are added afterwards. If you're in other parts of the world, you're like, wait, what are you talking about? Yeah, our taxes are added after... you look at the price, yeah, then gotta add whatever the sales tax is, because it varies state by state. But yeah, it's about $100, or just under $100 increase equivalent. Yeah, so 80,000 yen, or about 550 US dollars. Which, it's $500 in the US, but then you add sales tax depending on where you live, and it's probably about that much. And the price of the PS5 Digital Edition is increasing also by 13,000 yen, from 60,000 yen to 73,000 yen, or 506 US dollars, which is actually, I guess it is about the same, because it's $450 plus taxes in the US, so. Interesting enough, we're gonna do one more thing in a moment, because Xbox prices actually increased 2 weeks ago in Japan. But yeah, the price of the PlayStation VR2 is also increasing by 15,000 yen, over $100, from 75,000 yen to 90,000 yen. So the PlayStation VR2 is now about 620 US dollars. I mean, it'll vary from day to day depending on the currency exchange, the currency rates and whatnot. Between the US dollars and the yen. And the PS5 DualSense controller is increasing by 2,000 yen, from about 9,500 yen to 11,500 yen, or about 80 US dollars. And the PlayStation Portal is increasing by 5,000... there's a typo there, excuse me. By 5,000 yen, from 30,000 to 35,000 yen, or about $240 US. But also, yeah, on August 15th, Microsoft increased the price of Xbox Series X and S consoles in Japan. Funny enough, the Series X increased from 60,000 to 67,000 yen, or about $448. But 67,000 yen is pretty much exactly what the PS5 cost is now, right before the price is increasing. So the Series X went from being cheaper than the PS5 to being the same price as the PS5. Now the PS5 price is going up. The Series X is now cheaper. This is Japan only, mind you. This is just Japan. There's no words of price increases. I think Microsoft said it's just in Japan due to the weak yen. The yen value has dropped. Is why the price increase in Japan, while it hasn't been touched anywhere else. At least that I can recall. At least recently, I should say. And the price of the Series S 1 terabyte increased from 44,600 yen to about 50,000 yen, or 334 US dollars. And the Series S 512 gigabyte increase from 38,000 to 44,500, 600 yen, or 298 US dollars. To compare, the Series X is actually $500 in the US. This is actually a good deal, relatively speaking, with the currency exchange. And the Series S being 334. Normally in the US it's 350, so it's also a good deal. While the Series S 512 gigabyte is 300 in the US, but mind you, that's before tax. While here in Japan, that includes taxes. So that is a thing. And also, by the way, if you're wondering, the Switch, I'm fairly certain, I don't have the prices up right in front of me, but the Switch, I don't think actually has ever seen a price increase in Japan, or at least nothing major, and is far cheaper than even the Series S is in Japan. Even, I believe, the OLED is cheaper. But of course, if you look at the sales in Japan, this is the most recent data from Famitsu. 2 weeks, because there was a holiday. So this is 2 weeks worth of sales. Over the course of 2 weeks, Nintendo Switch was the best-selling platform with 127,000 units sold over the course of 2 weeks. And the PS5 sold about just under 47,000. The Series X and S, 4,400. And the PS4 54 units, pretty much on its way out, as I've always mentioned. Like, that's pretty much it. PS4 hasn't been in production for a while. It's just whatever stock is left is selling. But yeah, you can see here, mentioning about the value of the yen. For the longest time, Going back to 2019, you see 106 yen to the US dollar, up 109, maybe 110, went back down. So you're talking about 100 to 110 yen per dollar. But then the value of the yen decreased to then it's going up. You get to a little bit of peak over here, 148 yen to the US dollar. So it's lost quite a bit of its value, and up to 160 yen in June to the US dollar, losing pretty much 50% of its value compared to the US dollar. But then the value actually, interesting enough, has improved slightly. It's still not great, but it's gone from 160 yen to the dollar 2 months ago down to 144 yen as of a couple days ago. So it's a bit of an improvement, but still way less than what it was valued compared to when PS5 and Xbox Series X and S consoles launched, which was November, which was about about here, November of 2020, where it's about 104 yen. So yeah, the reason why the prices have increased is because of the value of the yen dropping. But I don't think this is probably the best choice. Although, what is pretty well known, people in China, yes, the consoles are technically available in China, but the issue is games are not available in China. They have to be approved by the Chinese government. So a lot of people who live in China, they will illegally, over the black market, import or export or whatever from Japan, consoles from basically Japan to China. So you have the full access to the to the Nintendo eShop, the Xbox Store, the PlayStation Store, and whatever. Yeah, that's the main reason. Why a lot of consoles that are sold in Japan actually are then imported, exported. I forget which word you should be using, but anyways, going from Japan to China for that reason. But yeah, this is not a good look. Hopefully, the price doesn't increase anywhere else, but this doesn't bode well. If the PlayStation 5 Pro, everything is pointing to the fact that the PS5 Pro is going to be announced. Who knows? Real soon. It's going to be announced quite soon, probably next month. I wouldn't be surprised September. This PS5 Pro will be announced, and it'll come out in probably November, right? I guess probably early mid-November is when the PS5 Pro will come out. I don't know what game, we'll probably see some minor improvements for games on it. Price-wise, I think $600 is the bare minimum, considering the PS5 is currently $450 for the digital edition or $500 for the disc, the one with the disc drive in the US. We're probably talking about $600 in the US. And then now in Japan, with this price increase, we're probably talking, minimum 90,000 yen, probably 95,000 yen. Basically, these Sony and Microsoft are not willing to lose money like they used to back in the day with selling consoles. They're trying to increase profits as much as possible, and the one big hindrance is selling consoles at a loss, and this is trying to prevent such a loss. Whether they're selling these now at a profit due to these price increases or whatnot, or the amount lost is less than it was. But yeah, I just thought I would mention this. If you live in Japan, please go get a PS5 by Sunday, because next Monday, September 2nd, is when the price is increasing. And again, the Xbox price has just increased about 2 weeks ago on August 15th, although nothing about Nintendo about increasing the price of the Switch, which at this point, I doubt, but you never know. Yeah, and of course the Switch, if you are unaware, is the best-selling video game platform of all time in Japan. It's number one, outsold the DS earlier this year. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on these price increases on consoles in Japan. Hopefully I'm flying fingers crossed. That doesn't mean we're going to see price increases anywhere else. Hopefully that means prices, it's just Japan due to the weekend. That's the only reason. Yeah, hopefully. But anyways, if you enjoy this video, as always, be sure to hit the like button. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. There will be links below to all of these, to all the things we discussed here. All of this here, in the description down below. And be sure to subscribe. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subs, and I'm, a little over 300 away. It's slowly inching my way up to 10,000, no matter how small a number that may seem to some of you. It'd be kind of cool to finally hit 5 digits. Which I know it's a small amount, but it'd be kind of cool. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot. It's right here in front of me. Shawn Layden, former PlayStation CEO before Jim Ryan. There's a famous picture. You got Phil Spencer, Xbox CEO, Shawn Layden, PlayStation CEO, and Reggie Fils-Aimé, Nintendo of America CEO. This is all at the time. This is all changed. Reggie has left. Sean Layden as Les. Phil Spencer is still there. Till now technically Microsoft Gaming CEO. But there's a famous picture of the three of them all together standing in person, and I don't know, it might have been one of the Game Awards a bunch of years ago. A bunch of years. Maybe have been like 2015 or 2016. But yeah, he's just a simple response to someone tweeting out on Twitter. PlayStation 5 is getting a sharp price increase in Japan, and he just responds like, thinking like, well, that's a decision. He's probably a little like, what? Huh? Thinking face. What? Okay, that is a decision. That is an odd decision, but there you go. Yeah. Sean Layden, former PlayStation CEO, was probably slightly confused on that price, but I just thought it'd be a funny mention because I just happened to see that on Twitter. Yeah. Sony just giving them the Japanese market to Nintendo. I mean, they kind of already did. The Switch is the best-selling video game console of all time, and a PlayStation console, I think, has not hit 10 million units in a long time in Japan, which actually, let's take a quick look here. So if you want to look at Japan sales quickly, Switch, 33.5 million. Then the PS2, 23 million. PS1, 21 million. PSP, 20 million. But then it's a drop-off. Oh, sorry. PS3, about 10.5 million in Japan. But the PS4 didn't actually sold worse than the PS3 in Japan. It outsold it everywhere else. PS4 easily beat the PS3 everywhere else, but not in Japan. About 9.68 million, 9.7 million in Japan. And the PS Vita, 5.7 million in Japan. And the PS5 is about 5.9 million so far in Japan. We'll see. PS5 is currently a little bit ahead of the PS4 launched aligned. We'll see where it ends up in the end with this price increase. It might hurt sales enough where we might see the PS5 falling behind the PS4 launch aligned in Japan. But we won't know until, well, we start getting September data, which obviously we're still in August. And then, yeah, unlikely it'll catch the PS3 at this point due to the price increase. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. And hopefully I'll see you all around next time for some more gaming news, gaming sales, gaming industry information I find interesting. So yeah, I'll catch you all next time. Thank you all so much for watching.